But let's begin with the floods update, where 4 people have lost their lives as a result of flooding in Nairobi County. According to the County Governor Johnson Sakaja, such efforts are ongoing to locate 6 others reported missing. In Machakos County, 2 people have died as a result of floods at Kwa Mangeli slums in Athi River. The floods caused by heavy downpour on Tuesday night left behind a trail of destruction in several parts of the country, rendering several roads impassable. The Kenya Meteorological Department has warned that the heavy rains are expected to continue over several parts of the country. Alve Kaunda with more.
This was the aftermath of heavy downpour in different parts of the country on Tuesday night. Kibra, Lindi, Mathare 4A and Mathare North, Babadogo, Githurai and Zimmerman were the most affected areas in Nairobi. According to Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, 4 lives have been lost.
Where the structures need to be cleared, they must be cleared, no matter whose it is. And that's why I have thanked those in the informal settlements have been more cooperative. But those higher up in Kileleshwa, in Lavington, in Kilimani, we will just have to use force, unfortunately, because it is about saving lives. Tafadhali msingoje kusongeshwa. Kama pali huko, jana kulinyesha, unafikiri leo ni safe, leo labda mvua itakuwa zaidi.
The county government has embarked on unblocking of drainage systems in all its 17 sub-counties in the city and offering humanitarian aid to over 60,000 people affected by floods. Along Thika Road, travelers were stranded for hours when the Kahawa Sukari section was flooded. Motorists were forced to use the wrong side of the road, leading to a traffic snarl-up that lasted more than 5 hours. The raging floods also rendered a section of Namanga Road impassable after River Athi burst its banks, submerging the only bridge that connects the road to Mombasa Road.
Tumekuja hapa saa 9 usiku. Gari hapa imekunywa maji. Mpaka saa hii hatujatoka, bado tujalitahidi.
Matatizo kwa hata wenye wanaenda class, kama kuna wenye nimepeleka wanachelewa na mtihani. So imetuadhiri sana.
Watu wanateseka sana, maji imefurika, daraja imefunikwa na maji. Tafadhali tunaomba serikali tusaidie.
Mashida watu tumepata leo, hatujaipata kwa karibu kama miaka 20 imepita. Inaonekana drainage ya nchi inastahili angaliwe kwa umakinifu sana.
In Athi River Township, a large section was marooned by floods, leaving dozens of families, Kasoito slums, marooned in their homes. Athi River Sub-County Commissioner Patrick Mwangi said the flood claims 2 lives at Kwa Mangeli slums.
Nasikia county naambia watu muhame. Ili kuhama watu wanahama wapi? Ni mzuri kuwa na mikakati mizuri ya tukiambia watu wahame, tunajua wanahamia wapi.
The Kenya Red Cross, that is leading multi-agency rescue operations across the country, says 18 people, 7 of them being children, have been rescued at Mbradi in Mathare 4A estate in Nairobi. The Kenya Meteorological Department says heavy rains will for the next 5 days continue pounding parts of the highlands east and west of the Rift Valley, the Lake Victoria Basin, the Rift Valley, the southeastern lowlands, the coast, the northwestern and northeastern Kenya.
Former Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani and Marsabit Governor Ali Mohammed have been interrogated over alleged embezzlement of 8.2 billion shillings from Marsabit County government. Yatani was arrested on Wednesday morning by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission detectives. The EACC detectives have also seized computers, documents and 2 safes from the former Treasury Cabinet Secretary, which they claim contain crucial documents. Here is Abdiaziz Hashim with the full report.
Early Wednesday morning, sleuths from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission EACC carried out a sting operation at the homes and offices of former Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani and Marsabit Governor Ali Mohammed.
The Commission conducted operations in properties belonging to the former governor of Marsabit, that is Ukur Yatani, and the current governor of Marsabit, Mohammed Ali Mohamud, together with the top officials in the county government.
The sleuths are seizing computers, documents and 2 safes in the raids they conducted at Yatani's home and office. while Yatani was picked from his Nairobi home, Mohamud was arrested in Marsabit. The two said to have been involved in the alleged embezzlement of 8.2 billion shillings from Marsabit County. One after the other, they were brought to the Integrity Center for questioning, while a similar task was being conducted by detectives in Marsabit, where the governor was taken to EACC's regional offices in Isiolo County to record a statement in regards to the allegations leveled against him.
I know you are aware of cases involving 8.2 billion Kenya shillings. We have another one involving 1.9 billion Kenya shillings, and there are several others that we are yet to compute, but there are allegations of massive looting of public funds in the county government of Marsabit.
However, Siaya Governor James Orengo argues that the former CS and governor were not arrested but came before the commission to assist in investigations.
The governor and the cabinet secretary, Yatani, is not under arrest. He has not been confronted with any charges at all for the entire period we have been here.
Waziri Ukuru Yatani is here to assist with the investigation, not as a suspect, not as an arrestee.
The 9 suspects, including the former Marsabit governor, that is Ukuru Yatani, as well as the current one, Ali Mohamud Mohamed, are expected to appear before the commission once more next week as investigation continues. Abdiaziz Hashim from EACC headquarters in Nairobi County.
Thank you, Abdiaziz Hashim. The Kenya Air Force held a memorial service at the Moi Air Base in Eastleigh in Nairobi in honor of 6 soldiers who perished in the helicopter crash last Thursday. Kenya Air Force Commander Major General John Omenda, who led colleagues in paying tribute to the fallen soldiers, expressed confidence that the team of experts appointed to investigate the accident will unravel the cause of the accident, that also claimed the life of Kenya's Chief of Defense Forces, that is General Francis Ogola. Giverson Minor attended the service and filed the following report.
Family, friends and colleagues on Wednesday gathered at the Moi Air Base barracks in Eastleigh, Nairobi for the Requiem Mass. Kenya Air Force Commander Major General John Omenda eulogized the deceased soldiers as dedicated, determined and dependable officers.
We pay tribute to our gallant airmen, airwomen and soldiers who lost their lives in the line of duty, serving our great nation. They have paid the ultimate price while in pursuit of peace and security for our country. They have died heroes.
The Air Force Commander saying the Kenya Defense Forces has faith in the team of experts selected to probe the helicopter accident.
I have therefore constituted a team of senior officers who has been tasked to investigate the cause of the crash and give recommendations on how we will improve on our flight safety going forward.
Colonel Duncan Kitani will be buried on Saturday in Eldama Ravine, Baringo County. Major George Benson Magondo will be interned on Saturday in Kieni, Nyeri County. Aide-de-camp to Chief of Defense Forces, Captain Hilary Litali, will also be buried on Saturday in Tongaren, Bungoma County. Senior Sergeant John Murithi will be laid to rest on Friday in Kanyeki, Kirinyaga County. Security aide of the Chief of Defense Forces, Sergeant Clifford Onyango, will be buried on Friday in Lagos, Siaya County. And photographer of the Chief of Defense Forces, Sergeant Rose Nyawira, will be laid to rest on Thursday in Kagio in Kirinyaga County. Kenya Air Force Commander has eulogized the 6 fallen gallant soldiers as heroes of the Kenya Air Force, the Kenya Defense Forces and the country at large, saying their service to the nation will be remembered.
Indeed, our heartfelt sympathies goes out to the families affected. Now, President William Ruto says Kenya's journey to becoming a global industrial powerhouse is on course. The head of state says heightened investor confidence is attracting substantial foreign and local investments and elevating the country's industrial agenda. He spoke during the official opening of Jumbo Africa Auto Auction Limited at the Naivasha Special Economic Zone, the first of its kind, where Kenyans and citizens of the East African region will participate in auctions twice a month using the Kenya shillings instead of the US dollar.
At the Naivasha Special Economic Zone launched in January this year, the Jumbo Africa Auto Auction Limited, located at the Naivasha Special Economic Zones, is opening its doors to customers intending to sell or buy vehicles. President William Ruto, while presiding over the launch, expressed confidence in Kenya's journey to becoming a global industrial powerhouse.
A year and a half ago, when we were in Nakuru County, many people were in doubt as to whether this industrial city would be a reality. I think we can confidently tell them today we meant what we said, we've kept our word, and the first investor has opened doors in Naivasha.
The head of state says the Special Economic Zones program is aimed at increasing employment, growing exports, enhancing supply and boosting Kenya's foreign exchange earnings.
Those who follow international events will record that last year Kenya was rated as the best investment destination in 2024. And so that you know that that is not just a story, before the end of this year, yet another vehicle assembler will be in this zone. They are already concluding paperwork to make sure that we will start producing electric vehicles here in Naivasha.
As we look forward to having more investors, to working together in making the ease of doing business really a reality, and making sure that we attract more investors to make sure that your vision of industrializing Kenya becomes a reality.
We as a ministry, we are determined to meticulously and flawlessly execute the plan of His Excellency the President so that we can achieve his economic transformation agenda.
Being the first Japanese car auction facility in Africa, buyers will purchase vehicles using the Kenya shilling rather than the US dollar.
I know some very good work has gone on with the dollar, but you may not even need to use the dollar in this facility. So with your Kenya shilling, you don't have to struggle with finding out what the exchange rate is. Further, competitive bidding will guarantee lower prices, enhancing the savings that buyers will accrue compared with traditional purchasing and car importation processes.
The first time in this country, I don't remember any other sector, we will be trading in Kenyan shillings. So our neighbors, the African countries, have to look for Kenyan shillings for them to buy a vehicle here.
Later, President Ruto broke ground for the construction of 1,000 affordable housing units at the Special Economic Zone.
Thank you, John Jacob Curia. The National Assembly has begun considering the amendments to the electoral system as proposed by the National Dialogue Committee. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Amendment Bill 2024 is part of the pieces of legislation formulated to implement some of the amendments in the NADCO report. Some of the amendments include the members of the selection panel increased from 7 to 9 for a broader representation of interest groups. It also caps the term limits of the CEO to 3 years, as well as sets clear procedures for the delimitation of electoral units. The bill also sets ICT and accounting professional qualifications as mandatory for members appointed as commissioners. The bill, once enacted, will open avenues to recruit new commissioners. More details in this report prepared by Gladys Mongai and Kamcha Menza.
Right now, we are including expanding the panel, which is a good thing. One, to be more inclusive, and two, to also have the voice of the political players, which is a good thing. But that is not enough, Madam Speaker. I will go back again to the issue that we need to change our own mindset as individuals and think about the legacy we want to leave in this country for our children.
Honorable Speaker, this bill has been awaited for by many Kenyans and most of those who are in the political circles and those constituencies that lost their members of parliament or any other electoral positions, and who have not been given a chance to have elections held in those areas.
I welcome the change that has been made now, the amendment to define who the chairperson is. This is in tandem with Article 250, and it also aligns with the Katiba Institute case, which clearly said no other person can be chairperson. And one more minute, and I think on the issue of enlargement of the panel, it makes sense, and I support that particular amendment.
Now, human rights organizations have regretted the continued extrajudicial killings in the country despite a slight reduction in numbers recorded in the year 2023. The number of enforced disappearances has also dropped by more than a half to 10 over the same period.
Wednesday morning at Heinrich Ball Foundation in Nairobi, a group of human rights defenders organizations came together under the theme End Police Impunity. The humanitarian organizations led by Amnesty International Kenya, in a report released on Wednesday, appreciated a reduction in the number of extrajudicial killings recorded in the year 2023.
So in 2023, there were 118 persons who were unlawfully killed, and that compared to 130 in 2022 means a drop of about 9.2%.
Penina Kome, a victim of extrajudicial killing, says our deal in seeking justice.
IJM walinishika mkono na ipoa, tukatembea hiyo safari ya miaka 6 na mwisho nikaweza kupata justice, jambo ambalo sikuwa natarajia.
The group, however, says even though the number has reduced by 9%, cases of extrajudicial killing still occur.
Katiba ya Kenya hairuhusu mauaji ya mtu yeyote, ila inakubali ya kwamba kama mtu amekosa apelekwe katika koti ili koti ndio itaamua.
The families require even psychosocial support so that they are able to be cancelled.
They now want the Independent Policing Oversight Authority to fast-track the pending extrajudicial cases and the disbanded Internal Affairs Unit in the police service reinstated to hold errant police accountable.
With the release of the 2023 extrajudicial enforced disappearance, it has proved a level of success in the concerted advocacy intervention.
That story by Jailo Picha brings us to a first break of the bulletin. I'll be back with much more. Thank you for staying with us. The government has reaffirmed its commitment to harnessing the immense talent, energy and creativity of the youth in the country during the launch of the National Youth Council Strategic Plan. Principal Secretary, State Department for Youth Affairs and Creative Economy, Ishmael Maalim, noted that the National Youth Council Strategic Plan outlines Kenya's vision for empowering young people to become active participants in the national development.
The National Youth Council Strategic Plan unveiled on Wednesday is aligned to the national priorities and the aspirations of the youth in the country.
Regulation and coordination, advocacy, leadership and governance. And these are the reasons and the areas our young people felt. We want an institution to represent us, and National Youth Council was born.
Additionally, it emphasizes on the importance of addressing the diverse needs of young people, including those from marginalized communities, persons with disabilities and other vulnerable groups.
They are not employed. Majority of them feel marginalized, and especially those who come from marginalized areas like my place, they feel more marginalized. And they have no opportunities of representation.
Principal Secretary, Youth Affairs and Creative Economy, Ishmael Maalim, says through the plan, the government aims to create an enabling environment that fosters youth representation, inclusive participation and association across all spheres of life.
Through targeted initiatives in participation, representation and association, we aim to create an enabling environment where every young Kenyan can thrive and fulfill their potential.
He challenged the youth in the country to believe in their abilities and dreams, to break all the ceilings of any limitation.
To the youth of this nation, keep believing in your abilities and dreams, break all ceilings of any limitation, connect with one another by strengthening, broadening, and deepening networks locally and globally, and unleash your full potential.
Maalim added that the government is determined to create an enabling environment for the empowerment of local youth to make them self-reliant.
To matters education, where school fees burden and high cost of uniforms continue to hamper the quest for education for a section of secondary school learners in the country. This is according to the latest survey conducted by the civil society organization Usawa Agenda. The survey findings released on Wednesday revealed that parents with children in 43.6% of secondary schools sampled cannot afford to buy their children's school uniforms due to financial constraints. Joseph Wakungu reports.
Usawa Agenda interviewed principals in over 1,300 schools in all 47 counties between July and August 2023 to establish factors that contribute to inequities within the education system. According to the findings, the students in sub-county and county schools failed to attend classes for lack of fees. Additionally, the average price of a set of school uniforms is more than 5,000 shillings, an amount deemed as costly to majority of parents.
We have skewed the way we have distributed our resources in the education sector in favor of the big schools, the national schools, and to the disadvantage of the smaller ones, which are educating majority of the children in the country and remain marginalized, under-resourced, underfunded, and also understaffed.
We have so many other issues, probably even the report might also have brought out. We still have the issue of insecurities in so many parts of the country. The parents are suffering their children. The issues of floods, they are still there right now. Some secondary schools cannot be accessed even during examination time.
The survey also revealed that only 20% of sub-county schools are equipped with laboratories compared to 90% of national schools. On gender and equity in the management of schools, 15% of schools were found to have female chairs on their boards of management.
I think there are issues of prioritization, but there are also issues of just resource and making sure that we show the need.
So you can imagine, schools are supposed to run, students are supposed to, have books, they're supposed to have whatever that capitation is supposed to fund, and we have never reached beyond 60% in giving that capitation.
Meanwhile, stakeholders in the education sector are calling for the establishment of a community outreach program to spearhead the promotion of national unity and culture of community service. During the first day of the inaugural annual competence-based assessment symposium in Nairobi, they also proposed the realignment of the CBC pathway to the new constitution.
That's one of the reasons we are having this continuous assessment through the competency-based assessment, so that nobody will ever tell us again that, in this school we have finished the curriculum for secondary education in Form 3, and in Form 4 we are simply revising.
We are going to do a major pilot across the whole country in all the 47 counties in the month of June, so that by the end of this academic year, around October, all the schools can get sample papers of what to expect.
The three-day symposium is organized by the Kenya National Examination Council under the theme Shaping the Future of Education, Nurturing Every Learner's Potential through Competence-Based Assessment.
Thank you, Joseph Wakungu, for that report. We go to the scales of justice, where the Asset Recovery Authority is seeking orders from the court to compel former Migori County Governor, that is Okoth Obado, to return some 73.4 million shillings that was allegedly siphoned from the county through fictitious tendering. The authority says in an application filed before the Anti-Corruption Court that the monies were paid to proxies who are believed to be the associates of Obado.
In court documents, the authority argues huge monies were paid from Migori County bank accounts, which benefited his children and close relatives. The authority further points out that 34 million Kenya shillings were removed from the county government and used to purchase a house in Loresho, Nairobi County and luxury motor vehicles. Some 16 companies, according to the authority, did not win tenders on merit, but were given contracts by the county government. The monies received by those companies went on to benefit the governor and his children, who he paid school fees at different universities in the United Kingdom. When the case came up for hearing before Justice Esther Maina, the court was informed that the parties were negotiating to have the matter settled. The judge directed that the court should be shown a draft of the ongoing negotiations and that the case be mentioned on 6th May 2024.
I look at business now, where the National Cereals and Produce Board has started compensating farmers who bought substandard subsidized fertilizer. Affected farmers are required to lodge formal complaints by filing a claim declaration form at the depot or selling center where they bought the subsidized fertilizer.
Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mithika Linturi early this month directed farmers affected by the substandard subsidized fertilizer and those who purchased from suspended companies to be compensated adequately before rain season ends.
Make sure that farmers do not run costs which really were not contemplated within their budgets, and we'll be able to work out a formula and see how we can really indemnify our farmers.
The CS also warned that the National Treasury will hold on to payments from suspended fertilizer producers until the farms compensate farmers.
Because we have also not paid the money for the supplies. I still have money that was meant to go or to be paid to him.
To kickstart the compensation process, the National Cereals and Produce Board is advising affected farmers to lodge formal complaints by filing a claim declaration form that will be provided at the depot or selling center where they bought the fertilizer. The National Cereals and Produce Board is asking farmers with fertilizer from the suspended companies to present their original national ID cards and evidence of purchase, including exhibits where applicable to NCPB depots or any selling center where they made their purchase. In the case of farmers who procured and have not utilized the fertilizer, they are required to return the product to NCPB stores and be issued with equivalent amount of planting fertilizer. The National Cereals and Produce Board says it has so far distributed 3 million bags of planting and 300,000 top dressing fertilizer for the 2024 long range season to registered farmers.
A look at sports now, where the national under-20 rugby team, Chipu, won their second successive match after beating Tunisia 56-17 during the ongoing Rugby Under-20 Birth Trophy at Harare Sports Club, that is in Zimbabwe. The winner of the 4-team tournament will qualify for the World Rugby Under-20 Trophy in Scotland in July. After falling to an early try from Tunisia, Kenya rallied behind to equalize through Ido Kuta's converted try before that is Michael Wamalwa fired Chipu to the lead with a second try. Alvin Kavoli scored 2 tries to hand Kenya a 26-5 halftime lead. On resumption, Michael Wamalwa, Bramwell Anekea, Willie Tino and Brian Shile touched down once each to hand Kenya the emphatic win. Kenya beat Namibia in the opening match and will face defending champions and host Zimbabwe in the final round robin match on Sunday. The team with a higher number of points will clinch the championship.
And it's an 8-9. Pick and go. Well, oh my word! What a run! Drive. Now looking for those shadow runs, but immediately caught up by Wainaina. And there comes out to number 22, and this one surely is going to be try time for number 11 from Kenya.
Top international sharpshooters are expected in the country for the Euro-Africa Level 4 Tier 3 Championships, which will be held in Mombasa. Bamburi Rifle Shooting Club will be the venue of the Global Championships, slated for the April 25th through to the 27th.
The Euro Africa Level 4 Tier 3 Shooting Championships has attracted more than 200 participants, consisting of disciplined forces, civilians and foreigners from Slovenia, USA, Sweden, Russia and South Africa, among others.
This is a level 4 type of competition. It is called Tier 4. It is a sanctioned match by the headquarters, which is in USA, IDP headquarters, which is in USA. And for you to attend a sanctioned match, you have to meet a threshold of 200 shooters to hold that kind of event.
Addressing during rehearsal ahead of the championship, Bamburi Rifle Shooting Club Chairman Abdul Hakim Daud confirmed the event has a big turnout of foreigners compared to the other years. The foreigners started arriving in the country from today. The International Defensive Pistol Association Championship is taking place for the third time in the country, and about 120 discipline officers will be participating.
We have so many teams, law enforcement teams. We have DCI, we have Kenya Prisons, we have KWS here, we have Kenya KPS, Kenya Police Service, including the AS2 and DCI ATPU team.
Well, that's where we end the bulletin this morning. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Marie Yambo, and be sure to stay tuned. We already briefed you that we'll be having the official opening of the Bunge Towers just shortly, probably between now and 8 o'clock. The President will be there to preside over the official opening of the Bunge Towers. My name is Marie Yambo, and hope to see you next week.